Welcome and thank you, listeners, for joining us for today's Elko Live program. It brings me such great pleasure to welcome friends in studio today to talk about a very important mission, and that is propping up fish, friends in service, helping in our community. I have Jennifer Koopman. She's Director of Fish, and she's alongside, I'm going to say a long time rather than an old friend.
You can say old.
All right, Joe Doucette. It's so wonderful to see you again. And of course, Joe owns the Elko Fly Shop, and you dreamed up this really cool fundraiser for fish.
So what it is, we have the Fly Fishing Film Tour, and the Ruby Mountain Fly Fishers, which was a fly fishing club a few years back, started bringing it to town. And then COVID hit, the club kind of went defunct, and so after COVID, we decided to start it back up again. Last year, we raised $2,400 for the Family Resource Center, and so this year we decided, since it was a fly fishing film, let's get fish involved, friends in service helping. And so this year, all of the money raised will go to fish. And the way we work it, we have 4 sponsors. Elko Broadcasting is huge. We really appreciate all the airtime you give us and all the publicity. And then Great Basin College, which is where it's going to be held, and that's next Saturday, March 29th. And then Cook's Steakhouse and Saloon. They're doing the food and giving us a great deal on the food. And then of course the Elko Fly Shop. We paid for the location at GBC. We paid for the rights to the films, which costs money, and then we also are helping to pay for the food along with the help of Cook's Steakhouse. So it's a series of short films for anybody who wants to know, and it's short fishing films are from all over the world, the United States, Quebec, Canada, South America, off the coast of Africa, Central America. It's really kind of cool, and it's, as I tell people, it's almost as much a travel film as it is a fishing film. And it's basically just different fishing adventures, and everything from freshwater brook trout to muskie fishing to tarpon fishing in the ocean. And they also tell some stories in there as well. It's a lot of different things. It's about fishing, redemption, rebirth, family, and the photography is incredible, both underwater and above. And it's really a lot of fun. Last year we had 120 people show up and go to it, which was really good. And 100% of the ticket sales do go to fish. So the $20 price for the ticket gets you in the door. It gets you free appetizers, water and soda. And then Cook's is going to have a no-host bar, wine and beer bar. And 100% of that $20 will go to fish. We don't take any money out to put on the show.
Wow, what an incredible fundraiser, and how generous. And Joe, ever since your retirement from Department of Wildlife, you just continue to give back to this community.
Well, it's fun. I mean, we live here, and those who don't know me, I was a military brat, and the house I'm in now is the first house I've lived in more than 3 years of my life, and I didn't move into it till I was 42. So we've been there in that house now for almost 25 years. But up to this point, I'd never lived in a house more than 3 years of my life, and I'd never lived in a town more than 6 years of my life. So this is kind of, we've been here 25 years, and my wife's out at the GBC, Great Basin College. And speaking of GBC, one quick plug: if you have not seen Chicago, you got to go see it.
Yes.
We saw it last weekend, and it is incredible, the amount of talent in this town.
I know.
So I want to really push that. You got tonight and tomorrow night, I believe, the last 2 nights, right?
Mm-hmm. And a Saturday matinee.
And there is a Saturday matinee. So make sure, if you have not seen it, that you go. And the kids would love it. I mean, even the kids would really love it. So.
Oh, yeah. Action-packed, lots of fun. I mean, it's all live theater.
Yes.
Acting, singing, dancing.
I didn't realize there were that many people in this town that could sing like that.
I know.
When I heard they were putting on that musical, I'm going, oh, man,
yeah.
Okay.
One surprise after another. Everybody who's been taking that stage is just blowing us away. So
I have heard nothing.
Yes.
Honestly, I keep hearing how wonderful that show is. I keep hearing about it. I'm thinking, I got to fit it in my schedule.
Is.
Yes,
better, yes.
So
Thank
anyway,
you, Joe.
So it's a series of, like I said, 10 short films. Mm-hmm. And we can talk a little bit more about them later.
Yes.
But why don't we turn it over to Jennifer so she can tell us a little bit more about the mission of Fish.
Thank you so much. And again, Jennifer, welcome. I visited with you shortly after you took over. You're an interim director. I know you keep stressing that, but you just keep making more and more work for yourself. So
I do,
Yes.
but that's okay. It's efforts well spent, that's for sure. So very aware of we've talked about the mission of Fish and the need to the community, and wonderful to have this opportunity for Joe and all the sponsors to, I say it takes a village, and the village absolutely is coming together in this community and supporting Fish. And this is wonderful. Joe and I have spoke, definitely connected by service. We talk about with
Yes.
military, and I'm a veteran myself, and we share kind of that bond of there's certain people where you just spend your life in service to others, and I can say that for him and his family, and in the position I'm at. But so Fish is, I know I've been on before to say that we're in a financial need, and we are pulling up, we are for sure, but we're not out of the woods. So stuff like this is wonderful. And this is a great way to give back too. I will tell you, I have to be honest, I don't know much, but since you and I have talked, I now have a whole bunch of friends that I did not know were fly fishers or my husband works with, and now people are coming, and so you're uniting a network here
Cool. That's great.
I didn't know even existed. So yes.
Yes, and I saw the clip too online on social media, and it does look like this great there's some gorgeous landscape, and if you care about wildlife and conservation, you're going to love it too. And it doesn't appear that fish are harmed. Sure, some of them are released, I'm sure.
They're all released.
They're all released? Yes, and that's really cool.
Occasionally, like in a couple of films last year, sometimes they'll keep a fish, but it goes to the village of where the guide lives,
Yep.
and that kind of stuff. But on this, I believe in this one, and I had the rough duty of having to preview it so I could talk about the show.
Yes.
But I don't believe I saw any that were kept this time.
Yeah.
So
that's a really important, responsibly harvested, certainly. But if so, but again, it's just about the whole idea of redemption.
One of the villagers did tell one of the guys fishing who wasn't catching any fish the reason he didn't catch them is because he didn't sacrifice a chicken to the village.
Oh, so there you go. Yes.
And he offered to sacrifice a lot of chickens if he could just catch a fish.
That's really funny. Oh, Joe Doucette is our guest today, and of course he is the owner of the Elko Fly Shop right there in the heart of downtown Elko. Jennifer Koopman directs Fish, and Fish mission is to determine and provide for the needs of individuals who need either urgent or maybe some ongoing assistance here in Elko County and surrounding northeastern Nevada. So as you mentioned when you first came on, Fish was sinking a bit through no fault of any of the previous employees who were there. It was simply a time which some debts came due after COVID, we understand, Jennifer, and this is just an opportunity for the community to pitch in and to bring Fish back up.
It's interesting. I'm speaking to a community member the other day who said, they actually kind of honestly said they forgot about Fish because in regards to donating and keeping in mind, because we've just always existed. We've just been there for 38 years. He said, you've just always been, you've always done. And even, admitted, I forgot about you guys. So it's good to kind of get back to, here's what we are, here's what we do. Some community members that I've recently spoke to too, that have lived there their whole life didn't know we had a food bank. So it's just nice to kind of refresh and say, yeah, we have been there 38 years. These are all the things we do. Samaritan House, the food bank, client services, case management, the thrift store, that is revenue for us, right? But please donate gently used stuff, good condition.
Yeah, if you won't wear it yourself, don't donate it.
Right,
Because
right.
you guys have to get rid of it then, that costs you money.
It does.
So if you can't use it yourself, whether it's furniture, clothing, or whatever, don't donate to any of the nonprofits because then they take some of that money they've earned through the sale of the good stuff to pay for getting rid of the old stuff, whether it's taking it to the dump, hiring labor to remove it, whatever.
No, exactly. It's a good point. And, don't mean to be, of any disrespect to donors, but it's just the reality of it is absolutely, it doesn't support the mission if it's not gently used.
Yes.
Very important. Yes, Joe?
But yeah, I mean, I know my wife is always updating her wardrobe.
Oh, of course. Well, that's, yes. I mean,
so,
what we
so
do.
we take,
Yes.
well, and I update mine a little bit, but normally I wear mine out. My kids make fun of me because
You have fleece.
I wear the same trousers, style of trouser every day, but I like them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we take the ones that she no longer really wants, but are still almost in like brand new condition. We take them down there, and there's no reason that we can't clean out our closet. It is the first day of spring, I believe, or second day of spring.
I think it is.
And second day of spring.
Spring
and
cleaning.
so it's spring cleaning. So feel free to take, like Jennifer said, your gently used stuff down there. And another thing I notice is I've seen, and I've been guilty of it, where like after Christmas, I take any Christmas decorations I don't want down there, but then they got to have it for a whole year. So if you take some stuff down
in
like
October,
before Thanksgiving, when people start to decorate, then that makes it much easier for them.
That's a really good idea because storage is also a problem. So Jennifer, you talked about some of the services that Fish provides. You do case management, so you're helping people, whether they're Elko County residents or they're travelers. You're helping with just emergency shelter. That's all we really have. And then I was just seeing where you've recently served a record number of meals in the soup kitchen.
We have, very much. And that's also into part of where we are in the financial situation is the needs of the community have increased. So this last week we served 81 people out of the soup kitchen. We have not served that many people ever. So that's a record number for us, and that's really reflective of the needs of the community. So that's the hot meal that is served. Our case management client services for February, which is a shorter month, served over 1,000 clients that we've helped there. So, and I talk about the days when we do the drive-up markets that you'll see 150 to 200 cars lined up, and you will, hours before we open, and we do our best to get, everyone food and not turn away, but it's I tell you to come down on those days if you want to see it, and it's a sight to be seen, and then it really makes you understand the needs of the community and the importance of supporting Fish for that. Another key point that I always like to do too is the success stories. So we have a lot of success stories that have come out of Samaritan House, where the individual has come into Samaritan, stayed within Samaritan. They do get case management. A couple of them have even worked to where they work for Fish. And so now they have a place to live, and, they're doing great. So I think that's important is, sometimes people, is it hand up, hand out, all that good stuff. We're a little bit of both, but we do have those success stories. And so when you do financially support and contribute, you help us help people get out of their situation, whatever that is.
And whatever that is, without judgment, whether it's someone traveling through, whether it's someone who found themselves in this situation, it's something new that's never happened before. Before Fish, and as you mentioned, 38 years ago, we had people living in cars, entire families, in the downtown corridor, Jennifer. And so Fish was really born of this alliance of caring community members.
Very much. I think we've posted on our Facebook. I was looking through when we did our fundraiser or prom dinner, I was looking through some stuff and found old photo albums and just totally went down a rabbit hole and spent the time reading through the history. And there's a great picture of the interfaith that came through. It was every denomination that has been a part of building Fish, which is just so neat. And there was community leaders as well. There's the mayor and all this stuff that they built that. And that was so just warmed my heart to say, okay, wow, look how we really united to build this. And here it is, 38 years. Yeah. And I say we've been there for 38 years serving the needs of the community. Now we're in our own need. So we're looking back to the community to say, hey, now we need your help a little bit to get out of our situation. We'll get out of it. We are, like I said, turning it around. Absolutely. Continue to support, whether that's monetary monetary donations, wonderful. Whether that's gently used donations, whether that is coming to an amazing event.
You can have fun and help out at the same time.
Absolutely.
And actually get a chance to win some prizes.
Yes. And we also say, or volunteer. We always can use volunteers in the thrift store. That is always a beast of clothing. That
you
we
need
could
some volunteers tomorrow, don't you?
Yes, we have. We have said 10 to 2 tomorrow. Just show up at 10. Whether we have 2 or 50, we'll put everybody to work. And it's going to be a lot of just helping us get the clothing together. And we all are doing a 50% off just clothing. That was yesterday, today, and Saturday. So if someone is in need of clothing, we're doing 50% off all clothing.
All right, that's great. So if you can show up and help hang clothes, get clothes ready to go on the floor, again, that's the importance of donating clean, gently used goods so that they can go right out into the store, because you don't have these huge laundry facilities. In fact, when I visited with you, the washing machine and dryer that are used for clients, they were out of order.
They are. Back in the day, we built stuff to last.
Yeah, Maytag man, remember how sad he was?
And they are kind of cemented in, and they can't find the parts for them anymore.
Yes.
So, but to remove them is going to be quite the expense to get them out of there and get new in. And so, we offer the laundry vouchers to those that stay at Samaritan House, but that's why some of the services, like we're not offering laundry outside of Samaritan House, is because, we have 3 washers that are literally cemented in.
I think they're called monolith. Is that what they
could be?
Yes, they are carved in stone. So there are so many ways to help fish. Again, as Jennifer Koopman's describing, it's our turn to help fish, because fish helps our community and has been for nearly 40 years. And it was a mission of love and care and concern from the beginning, and it still is. So you are getting support from, I think, the city as well, or you'll make plans to go back. I know you presented the plight to the city and whether or not the county yet, but you have a lot of partners on your side, right, Jennifer?
We do. And it's been heartwarming. Like I said, I think I've even gone on before to say $5 even helps. If everyone in the community gave $5, we wouldn't, we'd be in an amazing position. And I've watched that. We have kind of through our Facebook, there are links to where you can do PayPal, and you can do reoccurring. You can donate right there. And I've seen people do $5 to $10,000, right? Like, it's varying amounts. Our community is very giving and generous. There is where we've also had the link for our an Amazon wish list to help us, because the soup kitchen, in serving 81 people, that's 81 to-go boxes. That's 81 bags of the silverware, and that is a cost to us. So that's nice. We've had a lot of people buying those items for us, and thank you to those who've been doing that, because that helps us too, and it still helps us serve the community. With everything going on, the clients' services have not been impacted, so that's been wonderful. We've been able to still provide everything that we need to provide.
That's right. From case management to emergency food, soup kitchen, the hot lunches, emergency shelter at Samaritan House, the outreach that Jennifer's describing that's done. There are also senior food boxes on site monthly, and that's important. You're serving the senior community as well as the children and others.
Yes, I think sometimes there's a misunderstanding that it's just homelessness. There is so many facets to the organization, and the senior food boxes is really, we do the Cimarron West, Green Acres apartments. A lot of those seniors, either have some sort of disability, some have visual impairment, that they can't get down to fish. Limited income, right, when you're a senior. So there's so many facets. It's not just homelessness that we serve, and families. A lot of people that are in the food distribution are people in homes who are struggling with egg prices and that to feed themselves and their children. So there is all of those components that go into who we help.
Fish Friends in Service Helping, 775-738 3038. Easy to remember that number. They are open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday 10 to 2, as you mentioned. If you want to volunteer tomorrow, it's a great chance to jump in. And you can also donate online. That's a great way to contribute, and every dollar counts if not being matched. Joe Doucette is here alongside Jennifer Koopman. And I know, Joe, we wanted to talk more about the topic of the fly fishing film tour.
Besides getting you in the door and getting you the free finger food and drinks and stuff, we've got great prizes, and your entry ticket is your drawing ticket.
Oh, nice.
And so, I mean, there's an Airlight 7-weight 9-foot fly rod. There's a Yeti insulated bucket, Yeti insulated Rambler bottle, a Benchmade knife, Costa Del Mar Jose Pro sunglasses, lots of stuff like that. And so we'll be giving that stuff away during the intermission. And then we're going to try something a little bit different, see if we can raise a little more money this year. We're going to have a silent auction. And so I'd like to thank Josh Kincaid of It's a Pirate's Life, because he's donating a custom-made fly rod that we'll be doing that. I have a gentleman from the Fly Fishing Club in Reno who makes Atlantic salmon flies, ties them. And people don't realize what's involved in this. He spent over 40 hours tying this one fly. and they're collector's items, and it'll be framed, and so we're going to have that out there. We'll have a Lamson reel that comes with 2 spare spools and a nice gift pack type thing, a 5-6 weight reel for those who fly fish, and then we're going to be looking to, if anybody else in community has something they'd like to donate towards a silent auction that people could bid on and maybe raise more money. And again, every dollar that comes in on the silent auction will be going to fish. And then, of course, we'll just have a donation bucket as well that people can just drop their change into if they want. So everything's going to go to fish. And then we will have Jennifer there. And maybe, Jennifer, you guys could even set up a table and answer people's questions about fish.
Absolutely.
I think that'd be really good.
Yes.
Trout Unlimited is starting a new chapter in Elko. And so John Haddock will be there to talk about Trout Unlimited. And then Tom Patton, who owns Cook's Steakhouse and Saloon, he ties flies and sells them. And so Tom will also have a table there to show off his stuff. And so it'll be out in the lobby. The doors open at 6 p.m. and then the movie starts at 7. And then we'll have about a 20 to 25-minute intermission in the middle where we give away some of these prizes. And, of course, there will be other prizes, like boxes of flies and a gift card to the Elko Fly Shop and stuff like that. So we would like to see people there. And again, we get to do 2 things. We get to have a great time, meet a lot of fun people, see a great film, and then have it all go to a very worthwhile organization that can use our help. And so, like I said, it's kind of funny. Some of these reels, I sit back and in the past, there's been times where people cheer in the film, but there's also times where the audience also kind of laughs and groans. The very first one is titled Dan's Pain Part 2. And he was in one of the films last year where he didn't catch a single fish. So the idea with him is to come back and get some redemption, trying to break the curse of the last film.
At least getting one fish.
And so they start him off easy with brook trout in Virginia, but his goal is to catch a muskie, and he was not very successful brook trout fishing. After about 1,000 tries, he finally caught one. The hard way, it's Oregon red band trout. It's done on the reservation area of the Confederate tribe of Warm Springs, and it's kind of, they talk about the indigenous people, how they live off the land and stuff, but also rely on the fish and how there are people that are fishing there. And then there's one this is Captain Lacey Kelly, and it's a story of a lady saltwater fishing guide who's a bit of a character, and it's on the Gulf Coast of Florida. Then after that, we've got the Bumpy Land, and they're chasing bumpy parrotfish. It's a type of parrotfish, and it's in the Seychelles, which is an archipelago of 115 islands off the east coast of Africa in the Indian Ocean. Then there's one called Left Field. It's about a family. The father grew up his dad and uncle were Major League Baseball players, I think for the Toronto Blue Jays. He was a minor league player for the Houston Astros, but due to injuries, I don't think he ever made it to the bigs. So they sell everything to get away from the suburban life, and they go on a 1-year fishing voyage. put the kids to work. Then there's streamers, steamers, and struggles. This takes place in Slovenia, Croatia, and it's a group of biologists, and I happen to have worked with them for a few years, not these particular ones. And instead of seeing who can catch the most fish, they're on the Kirka River, it's about who can catch the most species of fish. Leave it to biologists to do that. And I guess there are 44 different species of the river, but who knows? And then the next one is called mousetrap, and people who do fly fish, we use a pattern, what we call a mouse pattern, to actually chase really large brown trout. And I've actually caught a couple of brown trout on the river below South Fork using mouse patterns, fishing like at 4 o'clock in the morning on a full moon. It's a lot of fun. Just got to be really careful because you can't see your fly go by your head and you might hook yourself. But this is about brown trout fishing in Arkansas, and it's got some beautiful country there. Echoes in the Tundra takes place at salmon fishing up on the Leaf River in Nunavik, Quebec. And then there's one called Hook, Shadow People of the Falls, takes place in Guyana, which is the Caribbean coast of South America. They're in the Amazon rainforest, and they're after peacock bass and pacu. And pacu looks like a piranha, but it's not. It's actually, they're actually vegetarians, is my understanding.
They evolved.
But they got these big teeth, but I think it's for like cracking the nuts and stuff. I don't know.
Of course.
Yes. And then the King of Color, this is an artist, David Danforth, he actually designed the artwork for the posters for the fly fishing film tour, and so he does a trip where it's 3 countries, 3 species, and the places where he goes to, he does a huge mural on the side of the buildings. The first country is Costa Rica, where they go after tarpon. Then the second country is Belize, where they go after Belizean permit. And finally, the third country he goes to is Mexico for Mexican permit. And permits are really cool fish. When you fish for them, you can actually see their tails. When you see their tails in the water, they're feeding, and because they're kind of face down feeding on stuff, and so you look for tailing permits, and then that's what you cast to. But it's all these great places that you get to see through incredible photography, and there's places where we groan, and places where we laugh at them, and places where people cheer.
And that's what it's all about, Joe. Bringing great people together to help fish. Friends in Service Helping. This is the group that benefits from this year's Fly Fishing Film Tour, which is revisiting. We're so happy to have it back. And Joe, even if you weren't into fishing, just listening to you describe with that enthusiasm that you have, there are going to be great people at this event.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. It's funny. I've had a couple of spouses buy tickets last year for their husbands, and I said, well, you should buy it for you and come too. And so a few of them did, and afterwards they're like, oh, this was really fun.
Yes,
so
it is.
you don't have to be a fly or even a fly fisherman, any kind of, if you like to fish. And my 16-year-old granddaughter, we all know what teenagers are like. Mm-hmm. Last year she was 15 and she loved it.
Oh yeah.
So she'll be there again this year, she said.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Well, I like to let people know that, our family, I didn't know, but I guess we were poor when we were growing up. So fishing was the thing we did every weekend because you know what? You could just go out and fish. And so I actually had a bamboo pole, which I thought was cool.
It is.
And yeah, and then
that's what I grew up on.
Yeah, and the red and white bobber. But fishing really taught me to be a better reader because I was the kid with the book and be sitting there and then someone would go, hey, Lori, your bobber, go check, you have a fish. And then I would jump up and I'd say, oh no, I have to release it. I have to get it off of there. I never liked to bring the fish home. They brought them home on the stringer, I was the kid that ran them to the bathtub. I don't know what's wrong with me,
Well, one of my
Joe.
fishing reports a few years back, I got in trouble because I wrote about my wife fishing with me once.
Yes.
And the deal was that I would take the fish off for her so she wouldn't have to touch them. And, well, of course, unfortunately, I'm fairly well known around town for fishing. And I got stopped in the parking lot after I already launched her in her float tube at Angel Lake. And she caught 3 fish being blown across the lake without me being there. And she's the only person I've ever known that was upset that she caught 3 fish.
I was just out here to float. Yes.
But anyway, it's a lot of fun. It's a
Great.
great family activity. I mean, even just fishing. I mean, I can't
Yes.
tell you. If you are interested in learning about fly fishing or how to fly fish, the Department of Wildlife does free fly fishing classes during the summer. They provide everything but a fishing license if you don't have the gear. And so we spend one evening teaching you casting in the park, and then we spend a morning out on the water. And it depends on water conditions, whether we're doing still water in a float tube or whether we are in a stream. So that's something to keep an eye on. I think you can go up to their website, and they have a place an education page where you can see where the classes are. And then, or you can go to Facebook, and then I'll also put those classes in the fishing report in the Thursday Elko Daily Food Press. Thursday.
And we've got your fishing report on the air right
Yes,
here.
and I'll also
Yes,
probably
perfect.
announce it here when we do my
Good.
fishing report on Thursday afternoons on KELK and
Thank you, Joe.
KRJC, and
Yeah.
lots of fun. I really appreciate. It's a lot of fun to do.
Well, we are so happy that you are in action, and we knew you wouldn't go anywhere after Endow. So,
Well, and tickets are $20.
Oh, yes,
You can
yes.
buy them at the Elko Fly Shop.
Okay.
You can go to flyfilmtour.com and buy them online. And that's an account I have with them, and they send us the money. And you can buy them at Cook's Steakhouse and Saloon, or you can buy them at the door. So any of those, we prefer obviously to have it ahead of time, the tickets ahead of time, so we know how many people are coming. Makes it easier on the food. But again, 100% of the ticket sales and any money we raise on the silent auction will all go to Friends in Service Helping. And also, I've mentioned the sponsors a couple times, but I'll mention them one more time. Elko Broadcasting, Great Basin College, Cook's Steakhouse and Saloon, and the Elko Fly Shop. And if you would want to later on this when the show is over, the first person to call the Fly Shop phone at 775-934-4565 and can name all 4 sponsors will get 2 free tickets.
Ooh.
So again, 775-934-4565 and name all 4 sponsors, and you will get 2 free tickets.
and that will leave you more money to spend on the silent auction to
There you
benefit
go.
fish during the event. So, Joe, thanks again. You're just a delightful human. And again, you and Mary and the kids give so much back to the community. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Yes, it's great to hear you and have you here. And Jennifer, I know you've got to be excited after hearing how much is going into this fundraiser, how much care we have for fish.
Absolutely. And I've got to say, you may make a fisher person out of me.
Well,
I'm listening to you both.
I will take you fishing. I will take you fishing.
Deal, because
nice.
I didn't grow up learning, and so but listening to you do all the films and all this, I'm like, oh, I'm so intrigued.
I think we're out of time where I tell the story about how my mom used to take us fishing. Mom was from New York City. Dad was gone a lot, so my mom didn't know how to fish, but she would take us down to the lake, find some grandfatherly looking gentleman, start to set us up next to him, and then he'd take pity on her and teach us how to fish.
Smart
mom.
Yes. Yeah, I was game as long as there was watermelon and hot dogs. I mean, that's the thing.
Well, hot dogs are bait.
Whoa.
I used to use hot dogs as bait.
I thought bubble gum was bait. I tried that a few times. So, you guys are the best. And Jennifer, you're right. I think a ladies' fishing trip would be really fun.
It would be a lot of fun. Yes, I love to learn new things, so I'm very intrigued. I'm grateful to be a part of this, and this should be just so much fun.
It is.
And Jennifer, thank you for everything you are giving.
Yes.
I don't know if people realize what you're doing to donate your time to fish, right? Bringing this all around.
Yes. I say it's bigger than me. It is. It's bigger than me. It's why I'm doing it. It's about the people we serve. It's about the people that we've, as I spoke of earlier, that we've helped get, that fish has helped get out of their situation. It's all about that. It's about those successes and helping people in time of need. So, yeah, I'm willing to do my part to help those, because it is bigger than me.
821 Water Street. We hadn't mentioned the location, but fish, we always assume everybody knows, but you're right. Not everybody knows those things. So 821 Water Street, visit fish, call fish, contribute to fish, and then be there next Saturday night. That's March 29th, Great Basin College for the Fly Fishing Film Tour. It's a fundraiser for fish. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us today.